Hi everyone, today I will demonstrate how to debug Frappe or ERPNext code using Microsoft Visual Studio Code. There are several ways to debug Frappe and ERPNext code. You can refer to the official Frappe website for more detailed information on various debugging methods. However, in this session, I will focus specifically on debugging with Microsoft Visual Studio Code, which is one of the most effective and efficient approaches for troubleshooting and optimizing your development process. To configure the debugger, it is essential to follow these key steps. These steps will help you set up a seamless debugging. For your reference, this is the official Frappe documentation, which provides detailed guidance on debugging. As you can see, certain files need to be modified, and the required code changes are also provided within the documentation. Additionally, I will include the exact code in the description for clarity. I am assuming that Microsoft Visual Studio Code is already installed on your system. Now let's proceed with establishing a connection to the Frappe server using SSH. The first step in setting up debugging for Frappe is to modifying the proc file. This file is located in root directory of branch folder. To remark comment out the line in the proc file, simply add a hashtag at the beginning of the line where the port is mentioned. The next step is to navigate to the debugger session in Microsoft Visual Studio Code and configure it for debugging. Before configuring the debugger, let's start the bench server to ensure that Frappe is running. To configure the debugger, click on the Run and Debug button. The system will prompt you to select a debugger. If the Python extension is not already installed, you will need to install it, as demonstrated in the video. It is essential to set the configuration in the launch.json file. To do this, click on Create a launch.json file. Select the Python debugger and then choose the file option. This configuration code needs to be updated. You can copy the code from the description and paste it here, as demonstrated in the video. Ensure that all the values are correct according to the Frappe setup, such as the Python path, port, and any other necessary configurations. Double-check these settings to ensure they align with your environment. Now, choose the debugger and click Run to execute the configuration. This will start the debugging session. Once the debugger is running, open your web browser and navigate to the ERP instance. By default, you can access it at localhost port 8000 unless you've configured a different port. To check if the debugger is working, add a breakpoint to any line of code in your project. In this session, I will stop the debugger on the bank account doc type to debug the IBAN validation. To do this, simply click on the left margin next to the line number where you want to add the breakpoint. This will cause the debugger to pause execution at that point, allowing you to inspect variables and the flow of the application during the IBAN validation process. Now, navigate to the bank account screen in your ERP system and try to add a new record. Once you perform this action, the debugger will pause at the breakpoint you set, allowing you to inspect the IBAN validation and other relevant details. Now, once you click the Save button, the debugger window will flash, indicating that the breakpoint has been hit. This will allow you to inspect your code and analyze the IBAN validation process at that point. The VS Code Debugger offers several useful features, such as Step In, Step Over, and Continue, Execute Overall Code. Step In allows you to dive into the details of the current function or method being executed. Thank you for watching, and I hope this session was helpful. I would greatly appreciate your feedback in the comments.